Welcome back everyone to this video, but before we get started, I do want to give out a quick reminder that December 3rd, this car, the Honda Accord, is going to be showcased at Wekfest in Houston. So the information for that is going to be in the description below. But today, what are we doing, Caleb?
We're going to replace my spark plugs. It's about time. We haven't done it ever yet on this car, and we don't know really when the last person did it.
Yeah.
So it's just about time. I'm not doing coils yet. I think those are probably still good. I haven't had any misfires, so it should be fine there.
This is a 2008 with about how many miles?
We're at about 95,000 miles now.
So it's right about the time to replace the spark plugs. Again, he hasn't had any kind of misfires, so there's no point in replacing the coil packs yet.
Yep. This time we're going with an NGK Iridium. This is just what they recommended on some sites I looked at. It was either between NGK and Bosch. Bosch wrote a little bit more. I read some good reviews on NGK, so we're going to give them a shot. So there are a couple things we have to remove first before we do the ignition coils and the actual spark plugs. There are just a couple bolts we need to take off. These are going to be T20 or torque 20s. And you just remove these guys. If I can get this going. Keep track of those. You don't want to lose those. That's just for the wiring assembly. Alright, now don't make the mistake I did. On a car with this many miles, plastic becomes extremely brittle. These are little tabs. What I used is a little flathead. Just kind of tucked it in, this back part, and just lifted. I did it very slightly, and this one, as you can see, just snapped right off. Not a big deal because it's electrical connection, and you should be able to still stay in because it's being held in by bolts. But just keep in mind, they are going to be very brittle. We destroyed it. This is the wiring harness. This plastic is so brittle, it just snapped off two tabs and the edges. I mean, whatever, it'll be fine, but just keep that in mind. It's extremely brittle. Not a big deal. But when it comes to the actual ignition coils, you should be able to just lift on them. You'll hear a little suction pop, and you pull them out just like that.
Again, something that we would recommend, you want to put it in the same order you're taking it out, same order you're putting it back in.
And we're going to use 3/8 with an extension and a spark plug remover. I don't even know the size of this.
I do not know off the top of my head, but
oh well.
We'll put it in the description below. It is again worth the money to actually invest in the socket for the spark plugs. The reason why there's a magnet on top of it, so that way when you unscrew it, it just comes out with the spark plugs just like that.
Oh yeah.
So if we look at it right here, the actual spark plugs, it is fouled.
Yep, definitely time. I'll show you a side-by-side comparison here. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's about time. We just got the ignition coils out, we got the spark plugs out. They were pretty fouled, so we're gonna go ahead and throw the new ones in now. Make sure to put the same ignition coils back in the same holes that they came out from. Just keeps consistency. To make a little correction from earlier, we actually want 22 foot-pounds of torque, not 33 on this. We wanted to double check and make sure you guys get the right information. Perfect. Awesome, and we'll go ahead and put the ignition pack back, and then get everything set up again and make sure it starts up. So something we almost forgot to do was get some boot protector. It's a little bit of a lubricant that you can put on the inside of the boot right here, which then makes it have a better contact onto the actual spark plug, because we all know no one likes going in dry. Alright guys, so we got the spark plugs in and we got the ignition coils back in as well. Just be careful of the plastic. It is really brittle. Like I said before, we broke a couple of the tabs on ours. Not a big deal because everything screws down anyways, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a start, make sure everything's good.